What's up, everybody? This is Whisky in the Six. I'm Rob, here with some friends today, some Canadian friends who in some ways share some pain with these Springbanks, but we all have some of us have more pain than others, of course. Jeremy, just below me, can share my pain, but these boys to my right, I guess
pain-free.
Everybody's right. Yeah. Boys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, well, we're at the world headquarters here in Fort Mac, and it's Josh and Ty here from the Whisky Heathens, our new little adventure we're trying out, and it's been pretty fun so far.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, and you guys know me, Super Social Club. What's going on, everyone? Drinking some Springbank tonight. Always a good time.
That's it. This guy's got some nice Springbank. Everybody's got the same Springbank tonight, which is kind of cool and pretty rare, actually. I don't remember three guys with the same Springbank in a long time. Four guys in this case. But these were hard to come by. There's only 9,200 bottles of these, right? 92? Yeah,
9,200.
What is it? 14 or 15 years in ex-bourbon and ex-rum, and then moved to Madeira for 3 years, it says.
Got me up while you got it open.
So almost 18 years old, based on the numbers over here. November 2002 to October 2020, a month shy of 18. I'm wondering if what they did was they just used that 15-year-old rum cask and then dumped that into Madeira cask, or whatever they didn't use for the 15-year-old rum cask dumped into Madeira. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm thinking out of all the casks that you can choose to use in the world, chose to use a fucking rum cask.
Yeah, you don't like the rum cask.
No, nope, I do
He doesn't. I don't mind them terribly, but there's only one he likes, and it was old malt cask, Glenlivet, finished in rum. Yeah, it was interesting.
Have you ever tried the old? It's no longer available at Kensington Wine Market, but it was an Amrut rum cask. It was an ex-rum Amrut. No,
I probably stayed the hell away from it, man.
Honestly, that one, because they use their own rum for that one, and their rum is like thick and like viscous as hell. So it really.
I like rum, so I would enjoy it.
Well, do you remember the 15-year-old they had just, I don't know, a year or two ago, I suppose now, with the stupid green label? Man, I hated it. So I tried it again, and I hated it. And then the boys tricked me blind, and I was like, boo, I don't know what this is, man, but it's sweet.
So you don't like sweet? You're not a fan of like the sweeter side of whiskeys?
I find a lot of rum casks get that kind of sickly sweetness to it.
Over sugar.
Yeah, and when you get that bogginess and that Springbank funk, which is already kind of weirdly moldy, kind of sweet, you pair that with something over sweet, and I'm like, nah.
I hear what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I have a sweet tooth, so I don't really mind it too much. But I definitely understand where you're going with this. Just gonna say hello to
cherry casks and stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say hello to some of the guys in the chat. We have Eric Waite, Whiskey Studies. What's going on, buddy? Peter White's in the house. Sasha's in the house. We got Philip, Will Chan, Redbeard's Racing. Tyler, what's going on, man? And Whiskey Sith, another Canadian reviewer as well. The Whiskey Sith, I believe he's Canadian. I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
The best kind.
Cheers,
everybody. Okay, so these guys know Jeremy. I'm gonna let you guys talk for a little bit here. You guys have a bunch of stuff going on. You know your whiskey on Instagram has been around for a while. You hit 10K on that quite a while ago, I think, right?
Yeah.
Then you guys had the Whisky Heathens on Instagram as well. And then, so yeah, I don't want to tell your whole story. Why don't you guys share how'd it go?
Well, we started the Instagram Whisky Heathens thing, and I was like, you know what? The Whisky Heathens is not really an Instagram type of thing. We're doing our videos now. It started as a photography company that slowly transitioned into something else. So we just cut the Instagram altogether. We're doing our own thing on Instagram. And we figured we'd dive into the Whisky Heathens YouTube to be more of an idea than a channel. The Whisky Heathens, you can add water, you can add ice, you can add Coke, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is what everybody's preaching anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of posh to add water, and it's kind of, taboo to add ice. But if it's a hot day and you're in a sandy beach somewhere, throw some ice in. Right?
Absolutely. Drink it how you like it.
Yeah. So we just wanted to kind of bring that forward into a more nonsensical ideology.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's just having fun, right?
Josh was big on Instagram, and I'm a comedian in Canada, and that's why nobody knows me. So it just kind of we hooked up on a podcast a few years back, and became good friends. And then we wanted to transition and do something different, but we just wanted it to be not taken as so serious. Like I said, more heathenistic, more fun. That's why we just try to add jokes and do stupid stuff. And we got a fun drone, and we're out there, we're filming by a river, and built a campfire at Elk Island, and drank some stuff with some interesting people. And we're just trying to do more fun, interesting stuff with it than just a normal review show, and just add some humor and heathenistic flavor to it.
I mean, we joke at some points, this is not Whiskey in the Six. This is not Ralphie. You're not going to get logical information here. Right? If you need the info, you got to go to the people with the info. And that's not exactly what we're about, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you guys you're being modest because you're both very whiskey knowledgeable, and you both, Josh, I know you've been doing this for a long time. I'm not as familiar with your work aside from the beer in the shower reviews, which I really like.
People love those.
Yeah, do you want to share that?
Sure. I'm not a whiskey expert. I'm just really good at pretending.
That's all of us.
Yeah, I actually, before I loved whiskey, my first loves were beer and rum. And just for shits and giggles, I started just doing like 1 minute shower beer reviews, and it just kind of took off. People are really loving them. They look forward to get messages like, "It's 11 o'clock. How come you haven't drank beer yet?" At 6 a.m. every morning. So I've been drinking a lot of coffee beers to get the day started. But yeah, that's just something I started doing for fun. And I don't know, it's gained me a few followers, and people are enjoying it. I get a lot of messages from it. So
yeah, they are really cool.
My morning poop, I know that.
That was the other thing we set out with our videos too. We tried to keep all of them under 10 minutes. And the idea was that, the video credits are rolling when it's time to wipe.
It's the have a little fun, have a little dram, just see what it tastes like, if we like it or not. We know it's a sherry or it's a this, but we're trying not to dive too deep. Just skate across the surface.
Yeah,
we kind of assume that most people that are like, before they buy a bottle, I mean, that's what I do, is I go quickly check some reviews from people I trust, and we have differing opinions on multiple things. So it's kind of, you check you guys with your tasting notes and your solid advice and logic and actual information. And then if you just want to like get a stupid opinion, come check us out.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, I've learned to and grown to trust your palate, just because all your Instagram videos, you're always popping something interesting, something good. Your palate seems very very weathered and very experienced. So I mean, I watched your episode, your review of the Glenmorangie Cake, and I don't know if it was just the cake you were eating or if it actually you appreciate the whiskey, but I went out and I got a bottle of that today. So I'm putting all my faith into you guys for that review. That seemed like the most. It seemed like the most kind of like gimmicky kind of whiskey. I know some people have given it good reviews, and you guys tipped me over the edge. So I went out and I got one today.
So first of all, I appreciate that. And secondly, with that cake, man, like it was something a little off about it. It was like a 10-year-old Glenmorangie kind of profile, and then all of a sudden, someone just hit you in the face with the ass end of a pineapple, man.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is so bright and weirdly sweet on the end. And then I poured it on my cake and I ate it with the cake, and I was like, hell yeah, this is what I'm about. It's a welcome break from, the more heavy hitters, man. It's a delightful little break.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm very much interested to hear your thoughts on that for sure.
Yeah, well, everyone will hear the thoughts eventually for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm very interested too, because it's one of those ones that I've been wavering with as well, just because it's been like quite a few mixed reviews. Like some people love it, some people hate it. And I kind of have a sweet tooth, so I think I would like it. I'm probably gonna check that out.
Yeah. So here's where we tried to do the Whiskey Heathen thing by saying, hey, this is a gimmick. This is a gimmicky whiskey. Like, it's advertised well. So they say, eat it with cake. Let's buy a fucking cake, man. Let's smash it into the cake and try and see. And we weren't upset based on the price we paid and the fun we had. And the dram at the end of the day was quite enjoyable. There's about half a bottle left, right?
Nice.
There.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Awesome.
It won't last, and I kind of want to get another bottle. So
Yeah.
Have you guys had some time with this Springbank so far, or not really?
Well, we, my bottle's strangely cloudy as well.
Is it cold? Is that?
Yeah, I took it out for a little picture day today.
That'll do it.
But yeah, we've spent some time with it.
I would say that there's like a ton of viscosity. It's like super oily, so I would assume that that's why it's still cloudy, because it feels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so anyway. It is. I find it really, really sweet. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, man, super sweet.
It's very
to me,
sweet.
It's
Yeah.
got the bogginess of Springbank there, but at first I found it to be like more wine forward, but once I had it in my mouth for a second, it was just like that sweetness come right in.
yeah.
And I'm kind of like, pretty sweet.
It's borderline your taste.
Like,
I like it myself. I mean, I even like it at the 47.8%. Like, it's just a perfect amount of heat to it.
Yeah, I agree with
It doesn't
that.
come on too strong, and I don't mind the sweetness, but it is a darker like molasses type sweetness. I find it's not overpowering sugar sweetness.
yeah,
Jeremy.
all the Springbank character comes right through with this. It's interesting with, like, you hear the maturation of this, right? It's like it's ex bourbon, ex rum, finished. Normally, you'd think a distillery is doing that because the casks weren't performing well, and they like throw it in some heavy wine cask to finish it off. But Springbank, it just seems like it works for them more so than another distillery, perhaps. And I'm in love with this thing. I think it's nice and sweet. I think the Madeira worked out really well for it.
Yeah, I find that actually for me, and like I said, take that with a grain of salt because I do have a sweet tooth, but I find the palate's actually better than the nose for me. It does have all those like Springbank flavors, like the Springbank funk that everybody talks about, but I do find that like on the nose, it's not as sweet as on the palate. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe you guys think differently, but that's my take with it.
I think I agree with you with that. I think that the oak influence in this is really good too. I'm getting like a noticeable amount of oak, but it seems like it fits really well. Kind of like that charred, kind of smoky wood note to this. That's really good.
Yeah, in my review, I said like a wet kind of oaky influence as well.
Mhm.
It's got that kind of dank flavor that you want. At the end of the day, it's borderlining a little bit. I can kind of detect the rum, and I went in with a preconceived notion, and that's right in the front of my head.
Yeah,
and I'm having a hard time falling in love with it. I don't hate it, but I got some Lacheg that says Tobermory just in case this was shit. So I can wash my mouth out. But
there you go. We always have to have a backup anyway, just in case.
Yeah. I don't need it right now.
Jeremy, when you talk about that charred oakiness, I was at a bonfire last night, and it's frozen out here. We get to like minus 35. So when we have a fire, we did it on top of muskeg, and it burned down into the muskeg.
Okay.
And that muskeg was actually burning, and that's what's coming to mind drinking this.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Is actual burnt muskeg.
That's cool. We got a bunch of people in the chat. About almost 50 people. guys, if you haven't heard of these gentlemen, they're the Whisky Heathens on YouTube. Know Your Whiskey on Instagram, as well as Ty. I can't remember your handle on Instagram. What is it again?
Ty Brandt Comedy.
Ty Brand Comedy.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Canadian comedian, and that's why no one's ever heard of me.
We'll type we'll type them into the chat and show them up on near the end so that everybody can quickly follow. But if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to these gentlemen. They're hilarious. They're doing awesome whiskey reviews, and as modest as they've sounded up until this point, they actually know what they're talking about. They got some. Well, you guys keep saying that you joke around with it and that sort of thing, but you guys know your way around the whiskey. You know what I mean? You've been when I'm looking for a whiskey and I know you've tried it, I care about what your opinion is because I respect it. You know what I mean? So that's for me like a go-to when I'm watching YouTube, because if I don't trust somebody's palate, then there's no point in me watching their reviews. They can have all the bells and whistles, all the lights and fancy show, but at the end of the day, if they tell me something's a 95 and I go buy it and it's like an 80 for me, I can't trust that reviewer anymore, right? So, and I'm sure that I've caused that with people, and it is what it is. But it is whatever. We have to all learn and move on. I want to say some hellos to people in the chat. We have Ruslan in the chat. What's going on? Kevin, how are you, my friend? P-Boss in the chat. What's going on, brother? Derek's in the chat. Mark. Got a lot of new names, actually, in the chat tonight. Eric from Dallas. What's going on, buddy? And Malt Muser, Whiskey Reviews. Another really cool whiskey channel as well, guys. Check him out if you haven't already. And James, what's going on, buddy? I think I'm caught up. If I didn't say hello to you, please do not take offense. This thing is moving pretty quickly and it's hard to keep up. I was thinking about whether or not I should like mark this tonight. I think it deserves an actual review, but we haven't really like talked about how this is developed. I don't know. Did I mention this on camera or did I mention this off camera that it was aged in ex-bourbon and rum for roughly 15 years and then moved to a Madeira cask for another 3?
Yeah, you said on camera.
That was on camera? Yeah. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, that's the case with this one. 9,200 bottles, and it seemed like there was 1,000 bottles globally because everybody I talked to had a lot of trouble getting this, unless, of course, you lived in some of the hot spots where these things just kind of fall on your lap. Otherwise,
I had zero trouble finding this.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the chat crying right now because you
land of the free, baby.
You know what? I'd be interested to hear some of our American friends if they've seen this on the shelf and what kind of price they're looking at. Because I know that the 21 hit the U.S. market in a lot of spots and they bumped it up like $500. I heard that some guys were seeing the 21 this year come out at, which was $150 increase or so from the 2019. So it'd be interesting to see if this price is getting jacked up for these as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I respect about Springbank is that no matter what the secondary goes on their bottles, like, and what the market seems to ask of an 18-year-old whiskey that's near cask strength, they seem to be well priced. Like, I know this was $200 some odd, but if you check like that against the global average of a cask strength or roughly cask strength whiskey that's limited, that comes from a big brand name, like these guys are way ahead of the game compared to everybody else, in my opinion. It's the retailer that's jacking up the prices once they get them into the store. I feel like Springbank does a good job of keeping their thumb on these guys and saying, listen, if you want my product, you better price it reasonable when it comes to these things. I don't know. Do you guys have a similar experience with Springbank, or would you feel like they're inflated a little bit?
Well, I used to have a super obsession with Springbank, and most of my collection was Springbank. And
half the bunker.
Yeah, I started to see over the years, man, it wasn't the same thing that I had fallen in love with. And I started shying away from it. Now, like, this is pretty much all my Springbank that I own, and it's mostly long grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I was like, man, it's to the point where I don't want to pay these prices for what I'm getting anymore.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like I just feel like the problem is, especially being from Ontario, there's not much that I love that is well priced anymlike
Yeah.
the average price of a decent whiskey is at least $120, $100. Like it's hard to find. They actually the Springbank release that just happened, the Hazelburn 13, depending on where you got it, was roughly $100.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great buy at $100.
Yep, I agree.
Even they're heavily peated. It's very young, but when you compare it with other companies that are doing a heavily peated whiskey, cask strength, the Kilkerran I'm talking about, sorry. I think that was really well priced in like the high 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even like the long grow, the Springbank Society releases are very much affordable for what you're getting.
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of shied towards the Society releases. And this is the first like Springbank that I was in a long time. It's like, hey, let me try this again. Let me see if I can get into this. But I'm still not going to rush out and try to replace this bottle.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to rush out for Springbank, really. It seems that I've shied away. I mean, it's still great, still good. I still enjoy it.
Yep.
Just not my forte anymore.
Right on. Jeremy, are you running out these days and buying Springbank? I don't think I have.
Yeah, because I'm a freaking tater, and that's what I have to do. I mean, I think like this 21, right? Like this was one of our most anticipated bottles we wanted to get this year because we love the 2019 so much. I mean, I paid secondary market for this. Didn't get beat up too bad. Just about $100 over like the lowest retail price I saw. I mean, I don't know. I overpaid for it, but I wanted it, so that's I'll justify it somehow. You know, I'll give some deals away to the Patreons, and that's how I'll kind of justify paying for this. But yeah, I think Springbank. I think for me, expensive. I mean, prices seem like they're gone up just a tick. You look at even like the 10-year-old. I thought that last year's 10-year-old was great. You know, and now you're looking at least another $10-15 price tag, I think, on that one, even. And then the 12-year-old, who knows what's going on with the 12-year-old? It seems like it sells out way faster than it used to.
You just find it on the shelf, man.
Yeah, right. Like the 12-year-old, you kind of could get one if you were kind of looking at the right time. But now it seems like as soon as these 12-year-olds are out, they're gone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think those were up a little bit money as well. I mean, rightfully so. I think they were good values at the buys you were getting them from. And then, of course, like Rob, what you said, like retailers are just being like, all right, well, you know, we might as well ask another 15% on top of whatever we were asking before, because why not? People are still going to pay it. So
yeah, I think that's the biggest problem is the retailers are really jacking up the prices because, I mean, for some of these guys, they're only getting 2 cases, maybe 1 case of, let's say, the Springbank 17. So that's a jackpot item for the next 2 months. And to get people in, they know that item's going to sell. So they have to make their profit margins on that bottle. And I guess I sympathize with them a little bit, but not entirely because, and I think Roy actually, Aquavite made a really good point about this. He was saying that, you know, yes, there's a secondary market and we can think whatever we want about the secondary market. And I'm paraphrasing here, but those people are still lining up at the door to get bottles. They're still the ones that are putting in all the legwork. A retailer, they have to keep the lights on and all that stuff, but these things are just shipped to their door. They're literally like, you want some, this is in your cart. All you have to do is press the go and it's there, right? So they have a huge upper hand, and then they want to replace the role of the secondary person and double dip essentially, right? So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I definitely understand what Roy was trying to say, and that like not that he agrees with the secondary market, but he believes that person's doing his work to earn those extra dollars Whereas what's the retailer doing to earn a secondary price? Essentially.
You can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Still not happy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I'm not gonna be play innocent here. I've definitely dabbled in the secondary market and sold some stuff and traded some stuff and done, and I've kind of veered, I've veered quite a ways away from that in the last, I would say 6 months to a year, if not more. But
to be fair, you guys kind of you're pigeonholed. You kind of have to do it due to the draconian laws in Ontario. You're not going to get half the stuff that we can get in Alberta. So you kind of have to get the game, and you got to go to the secondary market. Like you don't have a choice in the matter, really.
Yeah, well, the thing is too is just keeping a channel running is super expensive these days, man. Like,
yeah.
And so I've been doing this for just over 5 years. Jeremy, you're going on close to 3 years, right?
Yeah, about 2.5.
And then, like, just to, like Jeremy was saying, like, we become those taters that, like, you're going after every new release just to keep the channel alive. You know what I mean? So, like, it's tough. It's definitely tough. But I mean, whatever.
It's not tough drinking the whiskey, though.
Definitely not tough.
That's the easy part.
That's another thing that we recognize as well. So we're like, let's do a bottom shelf $27 whiskey. It's available all the time. Let's do this. Let's do that. We can shit on it. We can like it. You know, so we tried to keep it versatile enough that we didn't have to run out and grab every new release because, as you said, man, that gets expensive as all hell.
Yeah, it does. You know what though? Like, I guess that's definitely the right way to do it. My only issue with it is, there was for a long time I was the only one drinking it. Now I have a bunch of buddies on my street that I could share with, and they can have some. But if I bought a shit bottle that I knew was shit, but I did it because I just wanted to kind of give it a review and then move on, that bottle's sitting on my shelf for 2 years after that, if not more. You know,
content bottle.
Yeah.
We've got that in one from Montreal that will never ever get drank again. I don't even want to give it to people.
Yeah,
exactly. You feel bad giving it to people, right? So
it's about as bad as a whiskey can get.
Yeah.
What one was that? What whiskey?
It's called Swear Jar.
Ooh. Yeah, it's got to be a horrible whiskey.
It's like so good, we dare you not to swear.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, who told you guys that this was good?
It's become notorious around our channel that it's like the worst whiskey we've ever had.
Wow. That's hilarious. Swear jar. Just want to, there's a bunch more people. We got about 62 people in the chat. Again, these Josh and Ty, they're the Whisky Heathens. They're on YouTube. Give them a subscribe if you haven't already. You know my buddy Jeremy, Sipper Social Club, just under there. I want to say hello to Louis, Vincent, Teresa, In Touch Mortgages. I saw you earlier. I don't know if you're still in the chat, buddy, but what's going on, Anthony? Brian, what's up, buddy? Kevin Dond is in the house as well. What's going on, brother? The Mash and Drum. Jason, what's up, brother? How's it going? I said hello to a few of you guys. Scotch Down Under. Are you down under right now? Because if you are, isn't it like super late or the opposite? Is it super early there? I guess it would be
5 o'clock. It's always 5 o'clock.
Awesome. I guess that makes sense. Ben, what's going on, buddy? He's saying hello to all 5 of us, 4 of us, 4 of us. There's 4 of us. What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are all doing well. Like I said, follow these gentlemen right here. They have a very cool whiskey channel called the Whisky Heathens. So what's next for you guys? Like, what's the plan with the channel? What do you guys anticipate doing in the next year or so? Is there a plan? Is you just kind of winging it? You just feel like going with the flow? What's happening with the Whisky Heathens?
There's a rough draft. COVID has kind of put a damper on a lot of the plans we had, unfortunately. We launched just as it was coming to be. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things we had lined up had to get canceled. But we got some tours that'll be happening soon. Pretty excited for that. And for now, we're just – if anybody that does follow us already knows, Josh is the Scotch guy, and I do more of the Canadian and world whiskeys. And on the topic of Springbank, something Josh would have never picked up. There's a distillery out of Vancouver called Odd Society,
Okay.
and the guy, if I remember, Gordon or Gary
I
Gordon.
don't know. We got his name wrong the
Yeah.
first time.
Gordon Glantz. He studied in Scotland and then apprenticed at Springbank. So then he came over to Canada, and he's in Vancouver, in I think like East Hastings or something, and he's making some incredible Canadian whiskeys with Springbank influence,
Oh,
doing
wow.
some interesting stuff. So it's like that's somewhere we definitely want to go and showcase the distillery and things like that. So that's kind of on our agenda, hopefully in the new year. But for now, we just do things randomly. It'll be a Scotch one week, and like I said, a $27 bottle of something the next week, and we just jump all over the board. I saw someone in the chats asked us about our whiskey of the year. We actually picked two because, well, there's two of us, so
Yeah.
we figured it was fair.
Yeah,
I see
makes sense.
some of these comments popping up too. Someone's like, look, they're heathens. Look at all these unopened bottles. I just want to point out there's like 10 unopened bottles and 150 open. So, yeah. Don't you worry about the open bottles.
We just grab what we can find. Real
Yeah,
quick
this is
for some
quite literally
Springbank.
like all the Springbank long grow that's in my home.
I
Because
mean,
I just
that's-
stopped.
it looks pretty from here. I can't really tell what all of them are, but
It's all long grow, and like I think it's all long grow and one Springbank. The
Burgundy, the 12
yeah,
Burgundy.
that's
Nice.
my favorite
It's a good one.
regular release.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing about Springbank, right? They don't actually have a regular release except for maybe the 10 and the 15, because everything else seems to change by cask, by whatever else, right? So the 12 changes every single year. The 18 seems to change every single year. The 21 and 25 change
Even
every
the 21, like, man, last time I was in Jasper, I picked up a 21-year-old Springbank, and I get the same thing everywhere I go. Oh, it's been sitting here for years. Like sometimes they'll give you 10% off because it's been sitting so long, right? Like,
Yeah.
you get single cast 21-year-old in Springbank in Alberta. Not now, but
Yeah.
so it's so weird how much it's changed over the years here.
We got my buddy Anthony saying we don't judge about the unopened bottles. They all get open.
Oh, yeah, they get open or traded or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes-
I actually posted a big rant today on Instagram about opening or collecting or funding or whatever, and do you know?
So Redbeard Racing, that's my buddy Tyler. He's saying, wasn't Old Grandad rated one of the underrated bourbons? Was that by you guys?
No, we didn't do
I don't
Old
know.
Grandad.
I love Old Granddad.
Yeah, but we haven't
Old
done
Grandad is good. Yeah, it definitely is.
reliable.
Yeah, Old Grandad 100's made my like value list before for sure. I love that whiskey.
Yeah, we should probably do a rant where we do underrated, underpriced, since we did the overrated, overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do that, man.
Josh, I got a question. You got a lot of Springbank Society bottlings, or a couple behind you anyway. Do you have a favorite that came out recently of Springbank Society?
There was a Springbank, I think it was 9-year-old Sauternes, or maybe it was 8. That was really good. And then they had an 8 or a 9-year-old Sherry. That was amazing. And those two were my most favorite to be released in a while. But there's one I have here. I don't know. Yeah. This is Sherry. This is all Longgrow. So, like, I like the more pungent and in-your-face stuff.
Nice.
Springbank became a little bit too pleasant for me because it is fucking good. Like, usually, very pleasant stuff, but it's boggy and funky. But those two, it was Sauternes and a Sherry, 8 or a 9-year-old, or vice versa. And those were the ones for me that really did it for me. And when we're talking regular release, this Burgundy is the last one that I truly loved from Springbank. So
I was lucky enough to get a single cask. It was sent to me by a subscriber, by the name of Josh as well. Actually, he's in the U.S. He moved to Asia. Before he left for Asia, he sent me a single cask 12. Jeremy, you remember this bottle? A single cask 12-year-old Burgundy Springbank.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was
It was good.
mind blowing. So like I did a head to head side by side with that one that you have there and the single cask, and it's not even fair because whatever they put in that single cask was probably like the best Burgundy cask that they had.
For sure.
Right?
That sounds awesome.
It was unbelievable. It was probably to this day my favorite Springbank, like of all time.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, it was incredible.
This one's 53.5% as well. I mean, it's nice. It's pungent.
Teeter and cask strength.
Yeah, they had the 17 sherry wood that was real lovely as well.
Yeah, did you get your hands on that 15-year-old port cask that came out last year? It was a fresh port.
Yeah, that was yummy, but traded my bottle away.
Yeah, it ended up being a little bit more peated than I expected, and then near like the halfway mark, I found that it was like really, really good. But
okay, yeah, this is what I'm saying. See, like it's never that I'm like I don't like Springbank anymore, but I'm kind of like I just can't keep up with it. I'm over it now.
It's because you drank so much.
Yeah, I did. I drank a lot of Springbank for a long time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that tends to happen. I used to be like hell bent on like Highland Park stuff, and I still like Highland Park, but I don't remember the last time I bought a Highland Park bottle. I haven't bought any of the new releases, the new 18, the new 21, the new 25. I don't feel like I should because I don't think it's going to be as good as the old stuff, right? So it's tough.
I tell you, man, the new 12-year-old compared to the old 12-year-old, I think the new stuff is amazing. And apparently it's the same juice and it's a different color. Yeah. And we did it blind and the new stuff won, man.
I really like the 12. That's the one that I did try from the new range. And I do really like the 12. The cash is pretty good too.
$42 here. Like,
yeah, that's stupid. That's like the best, probably the best bang for your buck under $100 or
how could you want for $40, $42, right?
Yeah, that's.
I'm a big fan of the 10-year-old, even though it's at 40%. I love it a lot. It's got a little more peat than the 12, and I like that.
It's that youthful zestiness. I like that too. I like that.
Yeah. Have you guys tried the new cask strength yet?
No, nope. Sean has a bottle, so hopefully he's going to be pouring that soon. I'm very interested to see what that's all about.
We have some very, very generous friends in the whiskey community out here.
It's always good to have those for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we both like the cask strength. I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, Sean said he enjoyed it as well.
Alexander was saying that he's tired of Macallan. Honestly, I don't think I've bought a Macallan bottle in over a year. It's so hard to like Macallan these days with what they've been doing. It's just a little bit embarrassing, to be honest with you, in my opinion. Anyway.
Last Macallan I bought was the Ruby, man.
Oh wow!
We had the rare cask as well.
Yeah, and it sat forever, and then we tasted it, and it was tasty. But you want to drop a bunch of browns for that, man?
Not a 500 tasty.
Oh,
no. It's what the problem with the rare cask is, like it goes down. It's all the things that they want it to be. It's a soup kind of whiskey. It's smooth. It's not gonna hurt you, but it's also not gonna wow you. I don't think.
Man, it's yummy, and that's all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's expensive and yummy.
I recently tried the Macallan 18 triple oak or triple whatever they call it cask. Talk about like the most basic, plain, blended out, nothing whiskey. I mean, it was just so boring. And
I couldn't agree more.
And they charged so much for that bottle. So much for that.
I found that whole triple cask range was laughable.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was embarrassed for them.
They've become the Harley Davidson of whiskey. You're just paying for the name at this point. It's not the quality product that it used to be.
Someone said Macallan Edition 2, and I'll agree with that. That was delicious. I like that a lot. I like the one too, but all of a sudden it's $1,000.
Yeah. The one was awesome. The 2 was awesome. I even like the 3. The 4 I felt like was a bit of a miss, but everyone else seemed to like that one. The 5 was pretty good. I thought the 6 was just okay. But then again, like the price just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. It didn't make any sense. So
I've seen in the comments there as well, going back to Whiskey of the Year again. And I don't know if you mind if I touch on that for a second.
Go for it.
But when we decide a Whiskey of the Year, we factor in how easy it is to find, how great it tastes, and the price. So trying to juggle all three gets a little bit meandering, for lack of a better word. But when we picked the Deanston 2002 Oloroso, it was within the range of being affordable.
Yep.
When we posted our video, it was available. And for some reason, no one cared about it. And I loved it so much. And I just didn't understand why people didn't care. And I understand teach their own. But the same thing happened with the Mortlock. The Mortlock was inexpensive. And after I tasted it, I was like, I need to secure a second bottle. And it was as simple as a phone call, and I had a second bottle. And again, cheap, delicious. It was kind of youthful, but they picked a good cask that was kind of, I don't know, waxy and delicious.
It was really nice. Yeah.
So, yeah, we factored in a bunch of things, and that's why we picked.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you decide what y'all are going to pick for Whiskey of the Year, but there's 3 things, man. It's taste, affordability, and availability.
Yeah. So for me, it's basically whatever I've reviewed that one year. And I've recently dropped, it has to be lower than $500. And I know that that's still really, really expensive. But I try to like avoid doing it the way kind of like a Jim Murray does it, where I feel like he's, well, then again, I don't know how he's doing it, because he might just be getting paid to do the way he does it. Yeah. I like the way you do it.
Fuck what he does. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people, well, apparently people care because they sell out.
They do, man. They do. They do. You can still find that Alberta Premium in Alberta now for $400.
The batch one. Yeah.
One store had it for $150, and then one had it for $3.99, dude.
Wow.
When then we just refused to buy anything from that guy's store.
Yeah.
We just walked out, laughed out.
Yeah, I've seen it, and some friends have done it, and I don't like it, but I'm not gonna begin to judge them, because it is what it is. But I definitely don't understand it. Like, it's not. It's a $70 bottle at the LCBO. So if it's $70 at the LCBO, that means that you guys are getting it for, like, you could get it for
$56 all in.
Yeah, exactly, right. So question for all of us. So is the Springbank 17 any good? And I'll let you guys start. You guys are gonna have a different opinion, I would assume, based on what I'm hearing. So
go ahead, Josh.
Well, is it good in the broader sense of the term? Yes. When you're paying, $230 and up for the bottle, I wouldn't rush out and grab it. Based on a whim, I wouldn't do that. And I am a Springbank fan, more long grow these days. Is it good? Yes, it's good. Is it price range something you need to have? No.
Yeah.
I will say that it's good. I like it, and I'm happy that he bought the bottle. And that'll be the end of it. When this bottle's gone, I will probably never have it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss it, but I'm gonna enjoy killing it for sure.
Right on. Jeremy, what do you think, man?
I really do like it. I think it's a really great Springbank. The influence of the Madeira, just this like nice little candy sweetness on there. It works well with the Springbank funk. You get lots of Springbank character with it. The oak influence in here is really nice as well. That like kind of like toasted smoky wood. This is just a neck pour, and excited to see where this bottle goes. For the $230 Canadian I paid for this, I think that's a fair price. I'd buy it again at that much. So yeah, I really do like this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm with Jeremy. I definitely really like it. Maybe it's just because 2020 was such a shit year for me for whiskey. Like, I just had one bad experience after the other, all these like pipe dreams, and they all just blew up in my face. Just I couldn't find a whiskey that I was in love with, and I think my top 6 list kind of showed that. Like, it was the first time where I don't know if nothing blew me away. Nothing blew me away. There was a few bottles, but like, obviously, if it made my top 6 list, I really liked it. But it wasn't my favorite list out of the 5 years I've been doing it. So this one for me, I really like it. I think it's really good. I'm really happy with the way the Hazelburn 13 came out, the way this came out, the way the Springbank 21 came out. Although I do think that the 2019 is slightly better for the 21. I wasn't happy at all with the 25-year-old Springbank this year. I thought it was like very, very disappointing. I reviewed that in 2020, so obviously that didn't make even close. It couldn't have made the list because of the price, but it wouldn't have made the list anyway, even if it was less than $500. But yes, to the question, I really like the 17-year-old. Another question for us, or I guess that might just be, well, I'm assuming it's for all of us. Would you say the exception for Macallan these days is the Edition 6? I'm curious what the Classic Cut 2020 tastes like. I haven't tried that one yet, but I don't think that the Edition 6 is an exception in the sense that it's worth buying, because in these parts it's $200. So I'm not buying it at that price. How about you guys?
Which one is $200?
The Edition 6, the Macallan Edition 6.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
They usually come out, and you can get them sometimes like with the new look at this arrows sale, and you can get it for like 155, but 175 seems to be like the sweet spot.
Yep.
And no.
No.
Yeah.
No. The Macallan Edition 2 was $154.
Yep.
And oh yeah, that's worth it all day. But this new one, it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah, that's it. It's just okay, and it's if reality, like if people were forced to base their price on quality, that's a less than $100 bottle in my opinion.
Yeah, man.
I just don't buy Macallan anymore. So
yeah, it's few and far between. I've been curious about the new sherry, because the old sherry at 43% was quite lovely, but it was also $69.
Yeah.
So now it's 94 or more.
Jeremy, what do you think, man?
Macallan Edition series, I bought an Edition 1 in California for $99, so I'm kind of basing everything off of that.
Yeah, and it's delicious.
The Edition 2 was great. LCBO had it for what, $149 when it first came out, or so, maybe $165, something like that. But yeah, as the price went up, the quality went down as far as I was concerned. The Edition 5 I thought was a little bit better than Edition 6. But yeah, no, I'm not buying any of the editions. I bought 1 and 2, and that was it. The other ones I just had samples of or borrowed the bottle from someone. But yeah, no editions for me. I mean, Macallan, it's so hard to pay for it now, because I mean, I was buying these Macallans, the 12-year-old in the US, you could find it on sale for $49 at like a Costco or whatever, and that was such a great deal and a great bottle. The 18, I was paying $200 US for like the 2000 or the 1996, 1997 18-year-olds, which were so good. And now, I mean, I was at a Macallan tasting. Actually, Rob, the Macallan tasting that you invited me to a long time ago, and they had the lineup there. They had the Ruby, they had the Exceptional Cask. I remember trying those. I remember coming home and pouring myself and my girlfriend the Macallan 18, 1997, and it blew away all of those whiskeys.
Yeah.
And then that was pretty much the it for me. I mean, some of the Classic Cut, the 2018, I thought was pretty decent. But yeah.
Can't be that bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You seem to be hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah, maybe I was too hard on that first on the neck here.
You know what, man? Honestly, I'm really liking this. At first, I thought, well, actually, I liked it right away. At first, I wasn't crazy about the nose, but even that's like, it just takes a little bit of time. This is still, unfortunately, I'm splitting this bottle, so I better take it easy on the next like 5 or 6 pours, because it's not going to be around for too much longer. But I would definitely buy that again at $200. When you say 200 American for a Macallan 18, that 43%, or I can get this at 47.8. I'm taking this, unfortunately, all day.
Yeah. There's no even way to pin those two together, man.
Exactly.
It's becoming laughable. It's a luxury brand for fools, it seems.
Well, and that's actually now that you mentioned it, it sparked another thought. Like, so Bunnahabhain, all these brands that are coming out at cash strength, like low age statements, 11 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old. They're great. They're all really, really good, but they're coming out at like $300 sometimes, 250, 280. I don't know what you guys are getting them for in Alberta.
Not that far off.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like those,
I didn't rush out and grab it, man.
Yeah, so there was a time where they were well priced. Like I think, what did the PX cost when it came out? The 14, it was like 170 Canadian or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a great price. That was definitely a reasonable price. As soon as they saw the success of that, I believe the turning point was that PX, because everybody loved it. It was reasonable in price. It sold way too fast, and then all of a sudden, any Bunnahabhain that came out after that was laughable in price. Like it became laughable in price, laughable in secondary, and now it's just like you can't afford a Bunnahabhain.
It's out of control, man. It is.
Yeah. They're asking. So Anthony's asking, why is Macallan so collectible? They honestly, I believe they're living off the shadows of their past.
Yeah, man. They built a base based on amazing whiskey.
Yeah.
And drawn everyone in hook, line, and sinker because of their tasty drams. And then the price started going up, and we were like, oh, it's still pretty delicious. And then they started adding water, and the price started going up. Yep. And then we're like picking shitty casks or something, man. I just don't get it.
Yep.
And now it's like it's laughable. Like you said, the 18-year-old triple, like, come on.
Triple wood in these parts is $400. I don't know what you guys are getting it for, but like $400 for the 18-year-old triple cask. Like I honestly, I wouldn't pay if I tasted that in a blind. I wouldn't pay $100 for that bottle. I would not. Like, there's no chance I'm paying. I think the 15 is actually better. The triple cask or triple oak 15, whatever the hell it's called, is better than that 18-year-old. And then, honestly, in a blind, I'm convinced that I would choose pretty much any other 18-year-old over that.
Maybe we should do a blind. We do things blind, like, always, man, because talk is cheap and anyone can say anything, right?
Yeah, you're right.
When you do something blind, you're just like, oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I would love to see them like stump me and make me think otherwise, because I honestly don't think I would like that whiskey blind. I think the prestige of the bottle, the only reason people are loving that stuff is because of what it looks like optically, like to your eye, other than what's actually in the glass.
Yeah, man. You see it on suits, like they're buying Macallan, the luxury brand, right?
Yep. Well, we're approaching the 1 hour mark. We hit 80 people. Guys, please, I'm going to type it in the chat here. The Whisky Heathens. And I'm going to share it. Hopefully my spelling is correct. If not, then
live.
Well, when I first registered the trademark, which is the the tulip-shaped glass, in the 5 o'clock, she wrote us down as the Whisky Heathens instead of the Whisky Heathens. So I was like, shit.
So this is the YouTube channel. Give them a follow. Some hilarious stuff going on the Whisky Heathens, as well as both of your Instagrams. I think you guys are both really funny guys, which is probably why the chemistry is awesome on your YouTube channel as well. You guys are doing an awesome job. I really, really enjoy what I've been seeing. And I think these guys will love it too. So definitely hit the subscribe button when you see. Yeah. Jeremy, you guys know, but he's the guy below us that was moderately quiet tonight, but Jerry, he's just enjoying his
I didn't shut up.
What's that?
What's that, Josh?
I said that's because I didn't shut up.
Well, I did a lot of talking myself.
Yeah, I was just enjoying my Springbank, man. It's good stuff.
Now that I'm down in here a little, it's growing on me as I'm tasting it. But I'm curious to see how another 3 weeks or so in the bottle will do this, and I think it's going to do it really well.
I think so too. I think it'll just get better from here. To be honest with you, I think my buddy Paulo that I'm splitting this bottle with is getting the better end of this bottle.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the channel. Why don't you let these guys know your YouTube, your Instagram, your everything, where they can find you and what to, how to subscribe, or if you're on Patreon or whatever else, let them know.
Go ahead with your Instagram. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. Know Your Whiskey, no E in whiskey, and it's more refined shenanigans, still opinionated, but not so forcing it down your throat.
He's also being modest. He has another Instagram account that you can follow if you enjoy half-naked women and whiskey. That would be
I do. It's whproductions.alberta. We take pictures with my friends for fun, and basically what we do on the whole social media thing is try to have as much fun as we can. Nice. And Ty's doing his thing too.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Ty Brandt Comedy. If you enjoy naked men in the shower drinking beer, that's a great place for it. Mm-hmm. And anything else that I find fun and shenanigans. I'm a gun lover and booze lover and cigar lover. So that's pretty much all that encompasses my Instagram. And then, like Rob said, you can follow us on our YouTube. We got some pretty big plans and lots more stuff coming up. We're just climbing that ladder, trying to get the subscribers up, and we appreciate everyone that does. We launch new videos every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, and we were doing Sunday lives. We'll get back to those in due time when we get a chance. Mm-hmm. So thanks for having us, Rob.
Yeah, thanks for having us, boys.
Awesome. What time will you guys be doing your lives on Sundays?
We usually do them at 7 o'clock Alberta time, Mountain time, I think, and we'll get back into them when a few things work themselves out. But they were always a lot of fun. They end up going for a few hours. We just drink and smoke and interact with our fans and just have a grand old time.
Yeah, it's not quite like when me and Dan went live for like 4 or 5 hours. Our shirts were off. We were eating donairs. Like, it was ridiculous. It's not that level of shenanigans. It's more of us hanging out and smoking. It's real fun.
Right on. Well, I do plan on doing a similar time, so maybe I can launch into you guys for our Sunday lives, because maybe half hour earlier than we went on tonight is probably going to be the new norm for about 30 minutes, unless I have a guest. So that'll probably work out perfectly, because then I can just send them off to you guys.
I would love that.
Yeah. Jeremy, why don't you tell them where they can find you, although they know. Actually, before you do that, I just want to say a quick thank you to Kia. Thank you so much, brother. Says cheers, guys, for another amazing live. He's talking to you guys. Thanks so much for the super chat, Kia. I really appreciate it, buddy. Jeremy, where can they find you if they don't already know? I'm sure they do, because
yeah, you guys know, on YouTube, on Instagram too. So if you have Instagram, check me out. It's just Sipper Social Club. You want to come see what I'm drinking, what I just cracked, what I just overpaid for, come check it out. Comments of the day. If any idiot makes a comment on my YouTube channel, I'll post it there and make fun of them. So come check that out. Got a video coming out tomorrow for the new whiskey drinker who just getting into it. You want to know how to develop your palate maybe a little bit more. I got a tips and tricks kind of video, 7 ways to kind of try to develop your palate a bit more. So check that out. That's coming out tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I think we just decided that we're also going to go live after this, probably go have a cigar. Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants to join us on the channel, you're welcome.
Perfect. You got 66 people here. You guys have a new spot to hang out. Go hang out with the Whisky Heathens after this. I'm right after I say bye to them, which is going to be after I say bye to all you guys. So, gentlemen, stay on the chat for 2 more minutes. Everybody else, thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.